It's time for the Daily Stand Up Podcast presented by Agile Dad with your host, Lee Henson. Without any further ado, let's get started. Let's face it, many Agile teams face a common problem, especially if they work on technology systems. The truth is, when they get user stories for technical products or projects, many cases they're garbage. Now, I don't want to say it's because the product owner doesn't know how to write stories for a technical workspace. That I don't think that's it. But I think that when people face the fact that writing stories and acceptance criteria for technical implementations and modification projects with no substantial change in the user interface or workflow, it could create problems. This scenario is so widespread. Companies are just updating infrastructure, changing underlying design and architecture to try to improve performance or to scale their systems. And in most cases, the existing functionality will satisfy the user's needs with no additional changes. Teams in these situations create user stories that are nothing more than just technical implementation details. There's really no context of what functionality is to be delivered from the user perspective or the expected outcomes from their viewpoint. So, what happens is soon developers have no context of what they're building, and more importantly, how it'll eventually be used for the good of the people. Who's going to use it? Why are they using it? We're taught user stories should be kept short and simple and purposeful and valuable. Therefore, as a Scrum Master, you can try to coach your team to write clear acceptance criteria for whole user stories. Acceptance criteria should contain things the end user needs from the software being developed. Without any acceptance criteria, there's no natural way to measure when the task is finished. So before your team begins working, ensure that a final criterion has been created and agreed upon. When a story is proposed, some key questions you might want to ask are who, what, why, how. We know these. Why is this story being proposed? What problem does it intend to resolve? How does this benefit the business? What end user benefits from this? Who? Another point is that stories written from a user perspective will align to show the team is delivering value, not just working hard. So Scrum Master's responsibility is to make sure the stories are from a user goal point of view that we can demo later and when the user story is complete to stakeholders, even internal stakeholders, and receive feedback from them. Now, when the Scrum Master does this, of course, that's in coordination and conjunction with the Bafata to make sure this is happening. In this case, technical stories should be testable as well. If the product owner does not have enough technical knowledge to write this type of user story, the team and technical analysts should contribute and help to finalize what that story is. So, a backlog of user stories like this can quickly become incomprehensible to the common eye, especially in complex environments. The user story should provide context to the associated technical stories that the developers understand the functionality from the user's viewpoint. So I guess what I'm trying to say is this might be one perfect time where you have tasks and subtasks in Jira, right? You need to make sure that you're getting to the nitty gritty so that the team understands what they're trying to build, but they're not losing context of where it's coming from. So, as a coach, you might want to help your teams to write technical stories that give context to the user stories from the system's perspective. It's a good pairing. It'll also be good practice to help map everything together so that it's clear how the functionality that they're working on it relates to the user experience, who the target user is, and it keeps them focused on the user experience and outcomes that are going to help improve the overall product's benefit to the end user and the overall flow. I wanted to keep it short and sweet today because I know we're getting close to the weekend. If you enjoyed this episode, please drop us a line and let us know. As always, if you have a topic you'd like for us to cover, reach out to learn more at agiledad.com. We'd love to hear from you. As always, we encourage you to stay healthy, stay well, and stay agile, my friends. Until next time, do take care.